Wish me luck. Tell them to be nice to me.
Welcome.
Hello. I'm not going to lie. I'm not looking forward to this. But I trust you two, and so I'm going to put myself in your head. So, client, what should I do? Therapist, what do you think you should do? All right then, keep your secrets. I mean, it is true. A lot of the time as a therapist, like there's all kinds of things that you're seeing, and particularly when you're road mapping where you're going to go. And yeah, you can't give the game away too quickly. King Charles, when I buy new stuff to make myself feel better, but it's not working. That wasn't what I was expecting. I mean, it's sort of true, right? Like a lot of the time we have an idea that we're going to feel a certain way when we get something, and most things when you get them don't feel how you think they're going to feel. Right. Particularly when it's a big fucking crown sat in your head. I'm very happy we brought Game of Thrones into this. So, client, I don't need therapy anymore. Me, very, very smug looking Mother of Dragons. I mean, I actually don't think everyone should be in therapy all of the time. But I do think that often the time people most think they want to leave therapy is the time when shit's really about to start happening. And there are times as a therapist where people do stop coming to therapy at that point, and it is actually quite devastating. Personally, I find that really heartbreaking because you can't come across like you're pressuring someone to continue, because you've got to be neutral and you've got to trust the client's judgment, and you can see what's possible if someone stays with it. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm like a smug looking kind of mass extinction level murderer sort of face, but there are times where it's like you need to keep doing the work. Therapist. Now imagine yourself holding and offering support to your inner child.
The faces.
Those faces are good. I do a lot of inner child work with people. I don't necessarily call it inner child work, but I do a lot of work with people of their relationship with their feelings and their emotions in those younger places. And those look of genuine disgust and disdain that people have, in a way that represents often the point that people first start working with it. And in a way, the sign of the effect of the work is that picture looks different, right? That they're one goes from seeing those parts of themselves as distasteful and weak and whatever, to seeing them as part of their humanity and sometimes their superpowers as well. Yeah. And in a way, also the job of the therapist is to repair that relationship, because that is on both sides. That is the client towards their emotions, but also their emotions don't trust them. And so there's a place where you've got to rebuild the safety and the trust in that relationship. And part of that is, as the therapist, you are allying with the inner child and you're building trust with it. And so when you're getting the client to turn towards it, there's already some safety that's been built in that process. I mean, that's powerful. Yeah, it's like, and part of doing inner work is being able to hold those places, right? Those places where it feels edgy and it feels difficult. And I mean, I don't think my kids don't generally hit me, but I can think of times with my own kids where they're really angry about something, and what they need is to be allowed to have their anger. Rebuilding trust with a wounded and alienated inner child is it's they've got to be able to have their feelings, and that's the getting in touch with the anger and the rage and all the historical stuff that's not being felt. And people's fear is that if I feel that, that's all I'm ever going to feel. And I think what's powerful about this video is it shows the journey. So it shows the fact that you have those feelings, and if you allow them, then something else can actually happen. But you can't bypass those feelings. You've got to be allowed to have them. I also, the fact that the dad is like just like having the best time, his daughter is like genuinely traumatized. He's completely oblivious to the fact our kid's going to need some inner child work with her dad at some point in the future. But anyway, I fucking hate roller coasters. Just to be clear, that's not my safe place. I'm a bit of a control freak. But so one of the ways that I put it is you should always feel safe in therapeutic work, but that doesn't mean you always feel comfortable, right? And so, assuming this is a reputable theme park, that child is safe. They don't feel comfortable, right? And that's often the place where you know things are changing because they feel uncomfortable, which means they feel unfamiliar, which means they're different. And so you have to build the safety that makes that possible. But then the sign that things are changing is that they often feel scary initially because they don't feel familiar. And the payoff for staying with that and doing that work is that often many of the things we want in life are on the other side of those scary and difficult places. And that's where building inner strength and growing one's courage is one of the most powerful things you can do, because most things in life that are rewarding are on the other side of some difficult steps.
It's not that serious. It's not that serious. Let's just hold it together. Oh my God.
I mean, it sort of reminds me of one of my dogs that sometimes just cries out in the night. Like she's having a weird dream and she's like, ah! My wife and I leap up in bed and like, what just happened? So often what happens is we have trauma and we go numb and we don't feel it. And then when we do good inner work, we start to get more access and we start to feel it. And all these things that have been locked down start to come out. And then it can be tricky to keep the lid on the box or to keep it down. And so whilst we're in that process of processing and feeling, it can feel a little close to the surface. And there's points where you can do every coping strategy under the sun, but like it's there and it needs to come. And in a way, a sign of doing really good trauma healing work over a period of time is you clear that stuff, and then you're not being triggered in the same ways. It's quite a cute dog as well.
I feel so burnt out. Honestly, I feel like a vacation would just heal me, and that's what I need right now. I needed therapy, but it's still pretty though.
I've literally had that conversation so many times over the years with patients who have been like, I'll be fine when I go on holiday. Or people that I've been working with chronic illness that are like, if I just go on holiday and have a month and then everything is going to be okay. And the problem is, everywhere you go, there you are. So you can change the environment, and maybe there's a novelty for that for a short period of time. But the reality is that changing the environment will do nothing to fundamentally change the underlying stuff that's going on. And you got to deal with that. And holidays are about having nice, fun experiences and getting physical rest. But they don't fix shit that needs to be properly fixed.
Do you think therapists have therapists? Like, just imagine your day-to-day job is just like sitting there and being bombarded with trauma. Like, you're just a sponge, just soaking it all up. What do you think they do? Do you think they just like unleash that on their therapist, and that therapist just unleashes it on their therapist? Like it's just like it's a domino effect. Gotta be like a grandmaster therapist. You know, you just have to track it down. Like, oh, this therapist goes to this therapist, and this therapist goes to this therapist, and then finally you get to the top and you find the leader of all trauma sponges. I'm gonna find the grandmaster, and then I'm gonna make him my therapist, and then I'm gonna break him.
Nice. So it's really interesting. There are different therapeutic models, and in a more traditional counseling model, that is basically what happens. People go and see therapists, they offload, they feel better. Therapist feels drained by the process. They go and see their supervisor that sees their supervisor. And honestly, I don't think that's a sustainable way to live. And I actually don't think it's very effective, because in reality, you can't heal someone else's pain for them. And so feeling it with them doesn't actually fix it. And you can have empathy without going into that emotional place and feeling that with people. And I don't think people come into therapy because they want to just get stuck in feeling all of that stuff. People come to therapy because they want to change. And sometimes part of changing is you've got to process the history, but you don't need to wallow in it. You don't need to live in it and get stuck in it. You need to process it and to move through it. And then you need to create life the way that you want it.
So you are the grandmaster.
I am definitely, I'm definitely not the Yoda of therapy. No. Yeah, I'd like to meet them. Should I get bangs or go to therapy? My friend's therapy. So I got a confession to make.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what bangs are. What bangs are. Like for my generation, banging was having sex, but I don't think that's what this is. So
Bangs is like the type of haircut, like you know, like the little fringe. Yeah.
it is?
Yeah, that's what you know. Yeah,
I see. I genuinely didn't know that, but I really appreciate the education. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'd revisit this. So should I get bangs or go to therapy? I don't feel like that dog looks good with bangs anyway. I mean, the bangs are the wrong color,
I know, yeah.
right? Right? That's a blonde dog. It's got like black I feel like if you're going to get bangs, at least get them the right color.
Yeah.
But whoever put the bangs on that dog definitely should go and get some therapy. That was so much more fun than I expected.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content like this, post below in the comments memes or videos you would like me to react to.